The courtroom was silent. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the chief judge, Harold Whitmore, as he raised his gavel. "Mr. Leonard Carter," Judge Whitmore said with a cold, calculating voice, "you have been found guilty." "Objection!" A commanding voice cut through the tension, loud and clear. All heads turned toward the doors as they burst open. In walked Senator Angela Carter, the Senate Majority Leader, her heels echoing on the polished wooden floor. She looked directly at Judge Whitmore, her expression a mixture of fury and determination. Judge Whitmore froze mid-sentence, his gavel hanging in the air. His face turned pale, as if he had seen a ghost. The courtroom erupted in murmurs. "What is the meaning of this, Senator Carter?" Whitmore demanded, though his voice trembled slightly. Angela's words were like thunder. "You're about to sentence my father, an innocent man, based on lies and prejudice, and you're doing it because of your hatred for people like him. But you didn't think this through, Judge Whitmore. Did you forget who I am?" The judge's mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. Angela stepped forward, holding a folder of documents high in the air. "This evidence will not only clear my father's name, but also reveal your corruption and bigotry for the world to see." The courtroom went silent again, the tension so thick it felt like it might suffocate everyone. Judge Whitmore's eyes darted around, looking for an escape, but there was none. 2 years earlier, Judge Harold Whitmore had been overseeing staff recruitment for the local courthouse. Whitmore was a man who prided himself on control, a staunch believer in traditional values. To him, women belonged in the home, not in positions of power. And people of certain races? Well, he barely bothered to hide his contempt. Angela Carter, a young and ambitious lawyer, had applied for a position in the courthouse. She was well qualified, confident, and determined to make a difference in her community. But he didn't see her accomplishments or potential when her name landed on Judge Whitmore's desk. He saw a black woman daring to step into his world. "She's not what we're looking for," he told his colleagues with a dismissive wave, not bothering to hide his disdain. "But she's one of the top applicants," a junior staff member protested. "I said no," Whitmore snapped. "Find someone else." Angela was devastated when she received the rejection letter but couldn't back down. Determined to prove her worth, she threw herself into her work, eventually running for public office. Her intelligence, charisma, and commitment to justice won her a Senate seat, and within a few years, she rose to become the Senate Majority Leader. Meanwhile, Judge Whitmore continued his reign over the courthouse, his prejudices unchecked. Months before the dramatic courtroom scene, Leonard Carter, a retired school teacher and Angela's father, had been arrested for a crime he didn't commit. A break-in at a local jewelry store had left one of the employees injured, and a witness claimed to have seen Leonard near the scene. Whitmore, who had been looking for an opportunity to make an example of someone, saw Leonard's case as the perfect chance. "It's open and shut," he declared during pre-trial hearings, even though the evidence was flimsy. But Angela wasn't about to let her father be railroaded. As soon as she heard about his arrest, she began her investigation, working tirelessly to uncover the truth. Angela knew her father was no criminal. Leonard Carter was a man of integrity, loved by his students, and respected in his community. She refused to believe he could ever be guilty of such a crime. Sitting in her office late one night, Angela combed through every detail of the case. The witness testimony was shaky at best. The witness claimed to have seen a man matching Leonard's description, but couldn't provide specific details. The security footage from the jewelry store was grainy and unclear, showing only a silhouette of the suspect. And there was no physical evidence linking Leonard to the crime scene. Angela's instincts told her there was more to this than met the eye. She decided to dig deeper. One evening, Angela received a call from an anonymous number. A raspy voice on the other end said, "If you want to clear your father's name, check the courthouse archives. Look for files linked to Judge Whitmore's old cases." Before Angela could ask any questions, the line went dead. Her heart raced. She didn't know if this was a trap or a genuine lead, but she wasn't about to ignore it. She called her closest ally, Senator David Hargrove, who had connections to legal experts and investigative journalists. Together, they devised a plan to gain access to the courthouse archives. Angela and her team faced immediate pushback. When she submitted a formal request to review the files, Whitmore blocked it, claiming the documents were sealed. National security, he said with a smirk when reporters asked for an explanation. Frustrated but not defeated, Angela decided to work around the system. She reached out to an old friend, Caroline, who worked as a clerk in the courthouse. Caroline hesitated at first. "If anyone finds out, you'll lose my job," she said. "Caroline," Angela replied, her voice steady, "this isn't just about my father. It's about justice. Whitmore has been getting away with this for too long." After a moment of silence, Caroline agreed to help. Late one night, Angela and Caroline met in a secluded room in the courthouse. Caroline handed Angela a stack of files marked confidential. "What's in these?" Angela asked. "Evidence of Whitmore's biases," Caroline whispered. "Rulings where he went out of his way to punish minorities and women, even when the evidence was weak. But be careful if anyone finds out you have these. It'll be war." Angela stayed up all night reading the files. Her stomach turned as she uncovered case after case of blatant prejudice. There were patterns of Whitmore dismissing evidence that could clear defendants, favoring harsher sentences for people of color, and openly mocking women in court. As Angela prepared to go public with her findings, Whitmore struck back. He used his connections to spread rumors about Angela's integrity, accusing her of using her political position to intimidate the judiciary. Some news outlets ran with the story, portraying Angela as a power-hungry politician. "It's a smear campaign," David told her. "You can't let this distract you." But Angela wasn't just distracted, she was furious. Whitmore wasn't just trying to destroy her career, he was jeopardizing her father's life. Angela's determination paid off when David found a key witness who had seen the real suspect on the night of the crime. The witness, a delivery driver, described a man entirely unlike Leonard, and even provided a partial license plate number of the getaway car. With this new evidence, Angela coordinated with her legal team to prepare for Leonard's next court appearance. She also worked with investigative journalists to expose Whitmore's history of corruption. As Leonard's trial resumed, Angela sat in the gallery, watching Whitmore with steely resolve. When the prosecution rested its case, Angela's team made their move. "Your Honor," Leonard's lawyer said, "we have new evidence to present." Whitmore frowned. "This is highly irregular." "Not as irregular as your rulings," Angela interrupted, rising from her seat. The courtroom gasped. "Sit down, Senator Carter," Whitmore barked, but Angela didn't back down. She stepped forward, holding the folder of evidence. "This is not just about my father. This is about every person you've wrongfully sentenced, every life you've ruined, and I have the proof." Whitmore's facade began to crack. As Angela's lawyer presented the new evidence and outlined Whitmore's history of bias, murmurs spread through the courtroom. The judge's face grew redder with every word. The story made national headlines when Angela revealed her findings to the press later that day. Public outrage erupted, and the Judicial Review Board investigated Whitmore. Leonard was acquitted, his name cleared, and Whitmore faced consequences for his actions. Angela's bravery saved her father and exposed a broken system. She became a national symbol of justice, proving that even the most powerful can be held accountable. And Whitmore? He learned that prejudice and corruption have no place in the halls of justice or anywhere else.